Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Honorable the Majority Whip, Honorable Sang.
Honorable Speaker, I would wish to present to this House a notice of motion on approval of members of Speaker's panel. Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Any other notice to be issued? Where is Honorable Hassan? Any member from the Public Accounts Committee? There are a number of reports that were scheduled sometime this week and next week, and notices were to be issued. Honorable the Chairperson Lands, Honorable Sum.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to lay before this Honorable House the Lands, Environment and Natural Resources Committee report on approval of Kapsabet Municipality Integrated Development Plan. I wish to table.
We acknowledge that. You can just move that, issue that notice. Can give notice, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to give notice of motion that this House adopts the Lands, Environment and Natural Resources Committee report on approval of Kapsabet Municipality Integrated Development Plan 2025-2030.
Any other notice? Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion.
Honorable member from Kapsabet Ward, Honorable Kerich Benjamin Matata.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Public Investment Committee and pursuant to the provision of the Standing Order 188A1, it is my pleasant privilege and honor to present before this House the report of the County Public Investment and Accounts Committee on the consideration of the Auditor General's report on Mosoriot Sub-County Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2025. Honorable Speaker, with your indulgence, Honorable Speaker, you will allow me to skip the committee mandate. Let me just acknowledge the committee wishes to thank the Office of the Speaker and the Clerk of the County Assembly for the support the two officers have always extended to the committee. It is through this support that the committee has been able to effectively fulfill its legal mandate. The committee is largely indebted to the Office of the Auditor General's Eldoret office, the accounting officers of the relevant departments of the county executive, and the County Assembly for their cooperation, and all stakeholders who participated and gave inputs towards the development of this report. More so, the committee extends its gratitude to the officers of the County Assembly for the support they accorded to the committee during their process. Honorable Speaker, we have the guiding principles, we have the Constitution of Kenya 2010, we have the Public Finance Management Act 2022, and we have the Public Audit Act 2012. Honorable Speaker, on the Auditor General responsibilities, The Office of the Auditor General is tasked with the responsibility to express its opinion on the financial statement with respect to Section 48 of the Public Audit Act 2015 and thereafter submit the report as envisaged in Article 229(7) of the Constitution, which states that the audit report shall be submitted to Parliament or relevant county assemblies. The Office of the Auditor General is required to comply with the international standards of supreme audit institutions when conducting its audit. These standards require compliance with ethical requirements and that the audit be performed to obtain reasonable assurance about whether financial statements are free from material misstatement. In the audit report submitted to the County Assembly, the matters mentioned were identified through tests considered necessary for the purpose of audit. It is therefore possible that other matters stroke weaknesses might not have been identified. Honorable Speaker, with your indulgence, I will also skip the committee proceedings and go direct to the issues that were raised by the Auditor General in section which is an analysis of the financial statement for the Mosoriot Sub-County Hospital financial year 2024-2025 audit concerns, committee observations and recommendation. The Auditor General analyzed the financial statement of the Mosoriot Sub-County Hospital and expressed a qualified opinion on the basis that the financial statement and financial performance and cash flow of the entity presented a fair position as per the International Financial Reporting Standards and the provisions of the Public Finance Management Act in compliance with the County Government Act 2012, the Health Act 2017, and the Nandi County Facilities Improvement Act 2022. The committee considered the following concerns from the Auditor General, made observations and recommendations as captured hereunder. A report on the financial statement. The statement of financial position reflect property, plant, and equipment of Kenya shillings 604,469 as disclosed in Note 35 to the financial statement. However, review of the hospital's record revealed that hospital owns several other assets including land, building, plant, and medical equipment, motor vehicles of unknown value, software and capital work in progress. However, these assets were not incorporated in the property, plant, and equipment balance of 604,469. Further, no asset register, depreciation rates, and net book values were provided for review. In addition, there was no valuation report and ownership documents of the land. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness and ownership of this fixed asset balance of Kenya shillings 604,469 could not be confirmed. Management response. The management responded that a comprehensive asset register and valuation report for land, building, and other assets were not maintained due to the absence of the asset management policy. The chief officer further submitted that the management, in consultation with the county treasury, to develop an asset management policy and establish a complete register to ensure compliance. That the process of securing ownership documents for the hospital land is ongoing as attached, after which the assets will be appropriately recognized and disclosed in line with the standards. Committee observation. The committee observed that the hospital failed to maintain a complete and an accurate fixed asset register and did not fully disclose its property, plant, and equipment in the financial statement. Contrary to the requirement of the public sector accounting standards and sound public assets management practices, the committee further observed that substantial categories of assets, including land, building, and plant, and medical equipment, motor vehicles, and software and capital work in progress, were omitted from the statement of financial position, resulting in material understatement of the hospital asset base. Additionally, the committee noted with concern that the hospital had not undertaken valuation of its assets, had not documented depreciation schedules, lack of ownership documents for land, thereby raising serious concerns regarding the existence, ownership, valuation, safeguarding, and accountability of public assets. The committee acknowledged management explanation, but finds the absence of an asset management policy and a complete asset register to be a significant control weakness that exposes public assets to risk of loss, misuse, misappropriation, and inaccurate financial reporting. Committee recommendation. The committee recommended as follows: that the management should undertake a comprehensive asset verification and valuation exercise of all hospital assets, including land, building, medical equipment, motor vehicles, software, and capital work in progress, and submit a report to this oversight committee within 90 days of adoption of this report. Secondly, it should also prepare and maintain a complete fixed asset register capturing all required details, including assets description and physical location and identification, reference numbers and ownership status, date of acquisition, valued cost, depreciation rate, and the net book value. 3, the management should ensure all assets are appropriately recognized and disclosed in the financial statement in accordance with applicable public sector accounting standards. 4, the management should fast-track the process of obtaining ownership documents for all hospital land and properties and submit evidence of ownership to the committee within 6 months of adoption of this report. 5, the management should develop and implement an asset management policy in consultation with the county treasury to guide asset acquisition, registration, valuation, safeguarding, disposal, and reporting. And finally, the management should institute periodic asset verification and reconciliation mechanism to ensure that all assets are accounted for and regularly updated in the asset register. The second issue, Honorable Speaker, is the issue of inventory. The statement of financial position reflects inventories amounting to Kenya shillings 1,217,347 as disclosed at note 34 to the financial statement. However, detailed stock records were not provided for review. In addition, management did not confirm whether a stock take was carried out at the close of the financial year. In circumstances, inventories balance of Kenya shillings 1,217,347 could not be confirmed. Management response. The management submitted that a comprehensive physical stock take was duly conducted at the close of the financial year. The corresponding detailed stock take records, including stock account sheet and valuation summaries supporting the inventory balances of 1,217,314 disclosed under note 34 to the financial statement have since been provided to the audit team for verification and review. Committee recommendation. The committee observed that the hospital initially failed to provide detailed stock take records and evidence of the year-end inventory verification to support the inventory's balance of Kenya shillings 1,217,347 disclosed in the financial statement, contrary to prudent financial management and inventory control practices. The committee further observed that although management subsequently submitted that a physical stock take had been conducted and supporting records were later failed to the audit team, the failure to provide the documentation during the audit process reflects our weaknesses in record management, inventory, accountability, and audit preparedness. The committee notes that the absence of timely and adequate inventory records undermine the reliability of the reported inventories balance and may expose the hospital to risk of stock losses, pilferage, misstatement of financial records, and weak stock control system. Committee recommendation. The committee recommended that the management should ensure a comprehensive physical stock check are conducted at the close of every financial year and at regular intervals during the year in accordance with applicable public sector financial management regulation. 2, the management should maintain a proper and up-to-date stock record and submit all supporting inventory documentation promptly during audit to facilitate verification and avoid audit qualification arising from delayed submission of records. 3, the management should strengthen internal controls over inventory management by instituting clear procedures for stock receipt, issuance, storage, periodic verification, and reconciliation. 4, the management should establish accountability mechanism to ensure officers responsible for stores and inventory management maintain complete and accurate record at all times. 5, the accounting officers should ensure full compliance with inventory management and financial reporting requirement in future financial reports. Honorable Speaker, the third aspect of the audit was on budgetary controls and performance. The statement of comparison of budget and actual amount reflected final receipts, budget, and actual on comparable basis amounting to 33,900,055 shillings and Kenya shillings 27,900,019 shillings respectively, resulting to an overfunding of 5,199,036 shillings or 22% of the budget. Similarly, the hospital incurred an expenditure of 21,666,992 against the actual receipts of 27,919 shillings, resulting to under absorption of 6,233,027 shillings or 33% of the actual receipt. The underfunding and under-absorption affected the planned activities and may have impacted negatively on service delivery to the residents. Management response. The management responded that the variance between the financial budget of 33,099,055 shillings and the actual receipt of 27,900,019 shillings arose due to the difference in the basis of preparation and that the budget figure included all expected revenue, including receivables, while the actual figure reflected the cash received during the period. The reported difference of 5,199,036 shillings, therefore, represented funds expected but not yet received as at the year end, and commitments have already been made against the amount and thus not constitute underfunding. The chief officer further submitted that the reported under-absorption, the report of under-absorption of Kenya shillings 6,233,027 shillings does not reflect unutilized resources. The balance form part of the cash and cash equivalents as at the year ended and is committed to meet the existing obligations and commitments are disclosed as payable in the financial statements. Committee observations. The committee observed that the hospital recorded significant budget variance, with actual receipt falling short of budget by 5,199,036 and expenditure absorption below available receipt of 6,233,027 shillings. The committee was not satisfied with the management explanation that the variance arose from the accounting treatment of receivables and commitments. The figures demonstrate poor budget credibility, weak cash flow planning, and inadequate expenditure management. The committee finds that the budgeting for revenue not realized within the financial year and the failure to absorb available resources reflect weak financial planning and poor budget implementation, thus undermining service delivery and prudent management of public resources. The committee holds the accounting officer responsible for the unrealistic budgeting and weak absorption performance. Committee recommendation. The committee recommended that the accounting officer should ensure future budgets are based on realistic and attainable revenue projection supported by historical collection and credible cash flow forecasts. 2, the management should cease committing expenditure against uncollected or uncertain revenue projection unless supported by lawful and verifiable financing arrangement. 3, the accounting officer should institute strict expenditure monitoring mechanism to ensure timely absorption of available funds and full implementation of approved programs. 4, the management should submit to the committee a budget implementation improvement plan detailing measures to address persistent budget variance and low absorption rates within 60 days of the adoption of this report. 5, future unexplained or recurring budget variance should attract personal accountability measures against responsible officers in accordance with applicable public finance management laws. Honorable Speaker, Part B on the report on lawfulness and effectiveness of the use of public resources. We have one is non-compliance with Kenya Quality Model for Health and Guidelines. The review of the hospital records and interviews during verification of service offered revealed that equipment used and medical specialists in the hospital at the time of audit did not meet the requirement of Kenya Quality Model for Health Policy Guidelines. The guidelines require the hospital to have 323 staff as authorized in the establishment. However, the hospital staff were 47, resulting to a variance of 276 or 85% as summarized in the table below. Honorable Speaker, you will allow me to skip the table and go directly to the management response. The management responded that the sub-county hospital, though gazetted as level 3 facility, is already offering level 4 services, while some cadres of medical personnel meet or exceed the established requirement. Other experience gaps due to resource constraints. Management is engaging the county government to progressively recruit additional personnel, acquire essential equipment, and align operations with level 4 standards. Patients continue to access services with referrals made where specialized care is not available. Committee observation. The committee observed that the hospital is operating substantially below the staffing, equipment, and infrastructure standards prescribed under the Kenya Quality Model for Health and the first schedule for the Health Act 2017. The committee noted with concern that the hospital has only 47 staff against an approved requirement of 323, representing an 85% of staffing deficit, and lacks critical medical specialists necessary for effective delivery of level 4 health services. Further, the committee observed that the hospital is severely under-equipped with significant shortage in beds, ICU and HDU facilities, dialysis equipment, newborn care facilities, and operational theaters, thereby compromising its ability to deliver essential and emergency health care services. The committee finds that despite management's assertion that the facility is offering level 4 services, the hospital has not met the minimum statutory requirement to sustain such designation and is therefore operating in breach of the Health Act 2017 and constitutional obligation under Article 43(1) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Committee recommendation. The County Executive Committee member for health and the accounting officer should, within a specified period, submit to the County Assembly a comprehensive action plan outlining timelines and budgetary requirements for full compliance with level 4 hospital standards. 2, the County Public Service Board and the County Executive should prioritize urgent requirement of critical medical personnel to address the staffing deficit, particularly in specialist and nursing cadres. 3, the Department of Health should urgently procure and install the requisite medical equipment and infrastructure necessary to meet statutory level 4 hospital. 4, the Department of Finance should prioritize budgetary allocation to the hospital to support phased upgrading of staffing, equipment, and infrastructure. 5, quarterly progress reports on implementation of these recommendations should be submitted to the relevant County Assembly Committee until full compliance is achieved. The second aspect on the lawfulness is non-compliance with Persons with Disabilities Act 2017. Review of the hospital record revealed that there was a total of 113 employees, out of which 4 persons or 3% of all employees were categorized as physically or visually disabled. This was contrary to Section 13 of the Persons with Disabilities Act 2017, which states that the Council shall endeavor to secure the reservation of 5% of all casual, emergency, and contractual positions in employment in the public and private sector for persons with disability. Further, the management has not put in place proper infrastructure for persons with disabilities who might be patient or staff within the hospital. In circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Management response. The management acknowledged the observation and submitted that recruitment of staff, including persons with disabilities, is coordinated through the County Public Service Board, and the hospital continued to advocate for compliance with the 5% requirement in line with the Persons with Disabilities Act 2017. Plans are also underway to progressively improve infrastructure within the facility to ensure accessibility and a disability-friendly environment for both staff and patients. Committee observation. The committee observed that the hospital has not complied with the statutory requirement under Section 13 of the Persons with Disabilities Act 2017, having employed only 4 persons with disabilities out of 113 employees, representing 3% against the required minimum threshold of 5%. The committee further observed that the hospital lacks adequate disability-friendly infrastructure and facilities to support accessibility for persons with disabilities, whether a staff or a patient. The committee finds that the failure to meet the statutory employment threshold and provide accessibility infrastructure demonstrate inadequate institutional commitment to inclusivity and equality and compliance with the law on rights of persons with disability. Committee recommendation. The committee recommends that the County Public Service Board and the Department of Health should ensure future recruitment processes prioritize compliance with the 5% statutory threshold for persons with disability in accordance with the Persons with the Disability Act 2017. Secondly, the accounting officer should develop and implement a disability inclusion compliance plan, setting out clear measures and timelines for attaining the required employment threshold. 3, the management should undertake immediate accessibility improvement within the hospital to provide disability-friendly infrastructure, including ramps, accessible washrooms, signage, pathways, and service points. 4, the Department of Health should allocate adequate budgetary resources towards disability mainstreaming and infrastructure modification within the hospital. 5, quarterly compliance report should also be submitted to the committee detailing progress made towards meeting disability and accessibility requirements. The third aspect under this, Honorable Speaker, is non-compliance with the National Cohesion Integration Act 2008. Review of the payroll and human resource records of the hospital revealed that there was a total of 113 employees, out of which 107, or approximately 95% of all the employees of the hospital, were from the dominant ethnic community. This was contrary to Section 7.1 and 2 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act 2008 that requires all public establishments to seek represent the diversity of the people of Kenya in employment of staff, and that no public establishment shall have more than 1/3 of its establishment from the same ethnic community. In circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Management response. The management acknowledged the observation and submitted that recruitment of staff and deployment is undertaken by the County Public Service Board, and that while the hospital has limited control over staffing decisions, it remains committed to promoting diversity and supporting county initiatives to ensure compliance with the National Cohesion and Integration Act 2008. Committee observations. The committee observed that the hospital is in breach of Section 7.1 and 2 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act 2008 as 107 out of 113 employees, representing approximately 95% of the workforce, are drawn from one dominant ethnic community, contrary to the legal requirement that no public institution shall have more than 1/3 of its staff from the same ethnic community. The committee notes that although recruitment and deployment are undertaken by the County Public Service Board, the hospital management and the county executive bear responsibility for ensuring institutions under their mandate comply with the law and uphold constitutional principle of inclusivity, equity, and national cohesion. Committee recommendation. The committee recommends that the County Public Service Board should urgently review the hospital staffing composition and implement corrective recruitment and deployment measures to ensure compliance with the National Cohesion and Integration Act 2008. Future recruitment and deployment of staff should be undertaken in strict adherence to statutory diversity requirement to promote ethnic balance and inclusivity in public service. 3, the County Executive Committee member for Health and the County Public Service Board should develop and implement a diversity compliance plan with clear targets and timelines for achieving lawful staffing composition. 4, the CC for Health should submit a compliance status report to the committee within 6 months, detailing actions taken to address the ethnic imbalance. That is 6 months from today if this report is adopted. 4, non-compliance with 30% procurement reservation. Review of the procurement planning and processes of the hospital revealed that it did not reserve 30% of its procurement opportunities for youth, women, and persons with disabilities, contrary to Section 157.10 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015, which require every procuring entity to allocate at least 30% of its annual procurement value to these groups. The non-compliance further undermine inclusivity as provided under Article 27(6) of the Constitution on equality and non-discrimination, and contravene Article 227(1), which requires that public procurement be conducted in a fair, equitable, transparent, competitive, and cost-effective manner. In the circumstance, management was in breach of law. Management response: the hospital management acknowledged the concerns and submitted that during the year under review, 20% of procurement opportunities were allocated to youth, women, and persons with disabilities. The chief officer further submitted that the hospital is making steady progress towards full compliance with the 30% requirement under the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. The committee observation: the committee observed that the hospital failed to comply with the section 157(10) of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015 by allocating only 20% of procurement opportunities to youth, women, and persons with disabilities against the mandatory statutory threshold of 30%. The committee notes that while management indicated progress towards compliance, partial compliance does not cure the breach of the law, and failure to attain the prescribed threshold undermine the constitutional principle of inclusivity, equality, and equitable access to public procurement opportunities. The committee finds that the shortfall reflects weak procurement planning, inadequate enforcement of reservation policies, and insufficient commitment by management to statutory compliance. The committee holds the accounting officer and the head of public procurement responsible for the non-compliance Act 2015 and will continue strengthening procurement planning to achieve the target in subsequent years. Committee recommendation: the committee recommends that the accounting officer and the head of procurement should ensure full compliance with the 30% procurement reservation requirement in all future procurement plans and awards in accordance with section 157(10) of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015. The management should also integrate the statutory reservation threshold into annual procurement planning and budgeting processes to ensure procurement opportunities are deliberately structured to meet the legal requirement. The hospital should also maintain detailed and quarterly monitoring reports on the procurement allocation to youth, women, and persons with disabilities for accountability and audit purpose. 4, the accounting officer should submit a compliance report to the committee within 6 months, demonstrating measures taken to achieve and sustain full compliance. Review of the hospital record and physical verification of its structures revealed that the hospital did. Okay, there is a mixed up, Honorable Speaker. No, the fifth item is lack of hospital commitment to climate change agreements. Review of the hospital record and physical verification of its infrastructure revealed that the hospital did not have a policy on climate change adaptation and had not undertaken an environmental social impact assessment and not conducted environmental audits, contrary to the requirement of Environmental Management and Coordination Act, Cap 387. In the circumstances, management was in breach of law. Management response: the management admitted that indeed no climate change adaptation policy, environmental social impact assessment, or environmental audit were undertaken during the year under review. The management submitted that the hospital will competitively engage a consultant to conduct the required environmental audit and support the development of a climate change adaptation policy in compliance with the Environmental Management and Coordination Act, Cap 387. Committee observation. The committee observed that the hospital is in breach of the Environmental Management and Coordination Act, CAP 387, having failed to develop a climate change adaptation policy, conduct an environmental and social impact assessment, and undertake mandatory environmental audit. The committee notes that these omissions demonstrate weak environmental governance and lack of institutional preparedness in addressing climate change risk and environmental sustainability obligation in the delivery of health services. The committee further observed that although the management acknowledged the gaps and the unindicated intentions to engage a consultant, the absence of proactive compliance measures reflect neglect of statutory environmental responsibilities. The committee holds the CEC held responsible for failure to comply with the environmental laws and regulations governing public health institutions. Committee recommendation. The committee recommends that the CEC should ensure the hospital urgently develops and implements a climate change adaptation policy in compliance with the Environmental Management and Coordination Act, CAP 387. Secondly, management should undertake a comprehensive environmental and social assessment for all existing and planned infrastructure within the hospital. Third is the hospital shall conduct a mandatory annual environmental audit and ensure timely submission of audit reports to the relevant regulatory authorities. Fourth is the County Executive Committee member for health shall ensure integration of environmental sustainability measures in all health facilities within the county. Fifth, the CEC should submit a compliance progress report within 6 months detailing implementation of environmental and audit climate change adaptation measures. The sixth issue that was raised by the auditor is the delay in gazettement of upgrade to level 4 hospital. Review of the hospital records revealed that an inconsistency in categorization. The hospital was licensed in 19th December 2024 to operate as a public level 4 medical institution under Rule 5 of the Medical Practitioners and Dentist Rules. However, Gazette Notice number 786 of 4th February 2020 had categorically categorized the hospital as a level 3A facility. In the circumstance, the inconsistency in the hospital licensing and gazettement categorization creates regulatory ambiguity, which may affect service delivery, compliance, and resource allocation. Management response. The hospital management submitted that while the facility was licensed as a level 4 medical institution on 19th December 2024, it remains gazetted as a level 3A facility, and that the management is engaging the relevant regulatory authorities to correct this inconsistency through formal gazettement to ensure alignment between licensing and categorization. Committee observation. The committee notes that the mismatch between licensing and gazettement creates administrative and regulatory ambiguity, which has the potential to affect staffing norms, funding allocation, service delivery expectation, and compliance with applicable health sector standards. The committee further observed that although management had indicated ongoing engagement with relevant authorities to regularize the status, the delay in formal alignment reflects weak coordination between the hospital, the county government, and the national regulatory bodies. Committee recommendation. The committee recommend that the County Executive Committee member for health and the accounting officer should urgently liaise with the relevant national regulatory authorities to ensure immediate harmonization of the hospital licensing and gazettement status. Secondly, the accounting officer shall submit a status report within 3 months, confirming progress made towards correction of the gazettement classification. The final issue, Honorable Speaker, is the report on effective.
Honorable Kerich, as you handle the final report, you've done an hour already. And you should be mindful of the time. I know
okay.
it's quite a comprehensive report.
It is a comprehensive report. Maybe,
Yes.
Honorable Speaker, you will indulge and let me just go directly to the committee conclusion.
Yeah, perhaps you can just highlight the salient features
Okay.
as you go to the conclusion and final recommendations.
Let me just highlight, Honorable Speaker, we have the first, under the report on effectiveness of internal controls, we have the first item there is Board of Management subcommittees. Then the second one is, we have, I think that was the only issue raised by the auditor. Then we move of lack of risk management policy. And finally, we have the inaccuracies in financial statement. Maybe let me just go through this one because it is an issue that is page 5 of the financial statement relates to Board of Management. However, page 5 did not have the header indicating the Board of Management. Page 6 and 7 to the financial statement were not printed to these pages. In these circumstances, there were no compliance to the public sector standard board template format. I think there we have the management response and the committee recommendation. Finally, let me just move to the committee conclusion. Honorable Speaker, the committee, having considered the report of the Auditor General on the financial standard statements and operations of Mosoriat Sub-County Hospital for the financial year 2024-2025, together with the management responses, make the following general conclusions. The committee observes that while the financial statement of the hospital have been presented an audit opinion issued, there exist significant weaknesses in financial reporting, asset management, governance structures, internal controls, and compliance with statutory and regulatory requirements. These weaknesses have collectively affected the accuracy, completeness, reliability of the hospital financial statement, and operational accountability system. The committee is concerned that the hospital has not maintained a complete and accurate fixed asset register, has weak inventory controls, and continues to experience persistent budget formulation and absorption challenges. These deficiencies point to systemic weaknesses in financial management and internal control systems, thereby exposing public resources to risk of misstatement, inefficiency, and possible loss. Further, the committee notes with serious concern the level of non-compliance with key statutory obligations, including those relating to staffing standards under the Kenya Quality Model for Health, Disability Inclusion, National Cohesion and Integration, Procurement Reservation Requirement, and Environmental Management laws. These gaps demonstrate inadequate adherence to constitutional principles of equity, inclusivity, and accountability, and sustainable development. The committee is also concerned that critical governance and risk management structures, including functional board subcommittees, internal audit arrangement, and a formal risk management framework, are either weak or non-existent. These are significantly weakened oversight mechanism and compromise the effectiveness of internal controls within the hospital. In conclusion, the committee finds that the overall performance of Mosoriat Sub-County Hospital reflects a combination of financial management weaknesses, governance gaps, and non-compliance with applicable laws and regulations which require urgent corrective action. The committee emphasizes that unless the recommended remedial measures are fully implemented, the hospital will continue to face challenges in delivering efficient effective, and compliant healthcare services to the people. Accordingly, the committee underscores the need for immediate reforms by both the hospital management and the county government to strengthen accountability, enhance compliance, and ensure prudent management of public resources. Honorable Speaker, the committee membership is Honorable Benjamin Kerich Matata, who is I'm the chair, Esther Misoi, the vice chair, Honorable Milka Chumba, CPA Paul Birech, Honorable Isaiah Maina, Honorable Maina Raymond Chelule, and Honorable Bridget Songok. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I call upon the vice chair to second the report.
Honorable members, I'll therefore proceed to propose that this House adopts the report of the Public Investment Committee on the Auditor General report on Mosori Sub-County Referral Hospital as at 30th June 2025, laid on the table of the House on 10th June 2026. Honorable members, the floor is now open for debate. First in line is Honorable Isaac Mosby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to have a say on this report on the Public Investment Committee led by the very able Honorable Matata. Mr. Speaker, remember while this committee was being split from Pick and Pack, Mr. Speaker, I had pleaded that you include me in this committee. But unfortunately,
Honorable Isaac, you know that is not my duty to place members to committees. You
Yes.
know the right committee, and you should not be forum shopping to see which committees you should be serving in. Just make your comments.
yes, Mr. Speaker, sorry for that. You know, I really wanted to be here, Mr. Speaker. And I'm really excited that a good job is happening, led by the very able chairman, who the team, when you look at the membership of that committee, it is a team of members who are very passionate on the public matters, the investments, as the name of the committee is suggested. And I want to laud them for the great job that they've done, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I'm looking at some of the aspects that have been mentioned, the lack of proper inventory, so that apparently the land, the properties, and even the stock in that hospital may easily vanish because of lack of proper inventory being kept there. Mr. Speaker, I remember some times back when we came to this assembly, there was a motion I brought on the fleet management. And when you hear that motor vehicles and such properties have not been mentioned or are not visible in the stock, in the inventory of the hospital, Mr. Speaker, you know, when we look at that hospital, we usually think that it is a proper level 4 hospital. But this report has exposed this hospital as more or less a dispensary, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, when you have the staff being around 47 out of 323 that is recommended, you know, you wonder what is happening there. What service is being given there, Mr. Speaker? This is an hospital that is now serving more or less a municipality, Mr. Speaker, although the Mosori has not been upgraded. But there is the university there. You have the lecturers, you have the students. That is their new catchment area, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, you know, you look at this aspect of the staffing. There is no shortage of medical staff in Nandi, Mr. Speaker. We have a lot of jobless medics seeking to be employed in a place such as Mosoriot Hospital, Mr. Speaker. But maybe the numbers that have been calculated there, that we have 47 and we should be having 323. Perhaps I'm hoping that if it has been proven scientifically that 323 staff are required in that hospital, Mr. Speaker, then this is a great injustice to the people of Nandi, the people who are supposed to be using that facility, Mr. Speaker. So immediate or swift measures should be taken so that that kind of anomaly is corrected, Mr. Speaker. There are also aspects that the report has pointed out. So the aspects where that the hospital is not properly registered as level 4. All the while, ever since the devolution came, you know, the administrative registration, or rather the administrative work, apparently has not been done well. This one should be done as a matter of urgency, because with the onset or with the implementation of SHA, a lot of money is coming there. I'm sure if the present state continues, then that hospital or the people who are using that hospital will have a raw deal. So, Mr. Speaker, I support this report in totality, that indeed we should adopt it, so that maybe the Committee of Implementation can move swiftly so that to see to it that the recommendations that have been brought forward are implemented immediately. I want also to thank Mr. Speaker, the nominated MCA who represents people with disability. At least when you have the proper mentioning of the inadequate, or rather the low numbers of, I can see from the chairman's report, only 5 handicapped individuals out of 133 have been employed there as per the Act of People with Disability 2017. So there is a lot of correction, Mr. Speaker, that needs to be done. And I'm only saying that the report is very comprehensive. It should be supported, and the recommendation should be implemented as soon as possible, Mr. Speaker. I support, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Member from Olesos Ward, Honorable Isaiah Maina.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. May I, first of all, start by thanking the Chairman for ably presenting the issues. And I should just right away say, Honorable Speaker, that, you know, the state of affairs points to a bigger problem. A little bit more closely with this August House, in the sense that, Honorable Speaker, this is the report from the Auditor General, who ideally, you know, audits as time goes by, but we are here throughout. We even have committees that specifically are geared towards achieving these things. So in a nutshell, this report is speaking to us. It is speaking to this house. It is saying, Honorable Speaker, as I hear it, it is saying, wake up. That's all I can hear, Honorable Speaker, because, and it depends. What happens go. I don't know what's the issue with the mic today. What happens going forward depends on how much we, those of us who God has seen, you know, the way we normally pray, Honorable Speaker, and say, God has allowed us to be here. And indeed, it's the case. To check all these things, like from tomorrow and going forward. Otherwise, if we do not do anything, Honorable Speaker, and I'm happy that my friend here keeps on, the speaker who's just spoken, keeps on making the error of thinking that the sectoral committees have got no role. The only thing that I wish to help in as far as this is concerned, Honorable Speaker, is the chairman, my chairman has just said, he has given in this report, which is our report, he has indicated that there will be some 60 days for something to be done. I hope, Honorable Speaker, and you remember, there's a day I asked that could the Secretariat be following up on this? So that is a resolution. If when we adopt this report, it will be a resolution of the House, and there will be some 60 days to do something, and I hope that those will be done, and I will follow on that. As the chair, I will follow on the 60 days that the chairman has read. However, Honorable Speaker, as I finish, I would like to just point out a number of things. One, that the Department of Health consumes easily more than 3 billion shillings of our budget. It's more than 3 billion or thereabouts. Probably it goes to 4 billion. So for us to hear or to discover that maybe by doing all that, by being so expensive, there will be so many problems, then that's an issue to look at, Honorable Speaker. Number two, Honorable Speaker, there is the question of who is exactly responsible. Honorable Speaker, I would like to point out to this House that Article 179 of the Constitution creates a certain institution referred to as the County Executive Committee. This committee, Honorable Speaker, is described as being the body that exercises the executive authority within the county. That's under Article 179(1). When you look at Article 179(4), Honorable Speaker, the Constitution says that the county governor and the deputy county governor shall be the chief executive officer and the deputy county chief executive officer, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I should also want to point out that Article 183(3) of the Constitution, and I'm not referring to any other law, any other subsidiary law, I'm referring to the supreme law of the land, provides that the county executive committee is supposed to present reports to this house. Honorable Speaker, if you listen to the report from my committee, and Honorable Speaker, you know, these are issues that we have talked about, and many people don't seem to agree with me. Sometimes I become a lone ranger, Honorable Speaker. There is nowhere where the chief executive officer of this county is expected to do anything. We've said that somebody who has been appointed by the same person, we don't know, I mean, honestly, he got her from wherever, as well as the CEO. Those are the people we are addressing ourselves to. But the Constitution says it is somebody else. I want to say to this house that so long as we do not ask the person on whom the people of Nandi, actually they are two, they come together. Sarameke, quote unquote, Honorable Speaker, you know, they come together as a package. If those individuals are not responsible for making Mosoriot to be great, then who should? So this is a question that I am posing to this house, and probably even anybody else. And then let me finalize by saying the following, Honorable Speaker. When we were approving the names for the County Public Service Board, I recall, Honorable Speaker, that I did mention that I was surprised they seemed to come from one community. I was even shocked that there are certain members here who represent some other diverse communities, but they didn't say anything. They were just quiet. And now we are asking ourselves, okay, can Mosoriot have a diversity? And then they say, okay, no, it's a service board. The service board is the same one, Honorable Speaker, which is populated by one dominant community. So, Honorable Speaker, there is much to be done, and I suspect, I want to say that it rests squarely with this house. So Nandi will either rise or fall because of this house. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support the report. It's a good beginning. It's something that we can latch on and see whether it is that we can be tough on these guys. But, well, I hope we will not continue in that same way. I heard the chairman saying in the coming years, to my reading tells me that next year is an election year, so probably it's just like 9 months to go. Thank you, Honorable.
Honorable Whip. Thereafter, I've seen Honorable Laldim, and finally we can have the right of reply. Yes, Honorable Sang Matthew.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, mine is to laud and appreciate the work done by the Committee on Investment, the Investments Committee, led by one able Honorable Matata, for coming up with a comprehensive and well thought report that touches on very key issues to do with health sector, Honorable Speaker. And I think the report is not limited to, definitely it states the condition, the status of Mosoriot, but definitely it might mirror also what happens in other sub-county hospitals. And these are very critical issues that touches directly Mwananchi. Honorable Speaker, when you talk of non-compliance to up to 5 key issues, one being the Kenya Quality Model for Health Policy Guidelines. The other one talks of the PWD's Act that was not met. It touches on National Cohesion Integration Act, which again is non-compliance. The 30% procurement reservation, climate change, which the government should be actually touched on the same. It brings a concern that actually worries us if truly all these aspects are not met, Honorable Speaker. This one brings a great concern to the people of Nandi, Honorable Speaker. And to my best of knowledge, Honorable Speaker, I would want to support this report so that those recommendations are implemented as per the report brought forward by one Honorable Matata, who chairs that committee, Honorable Speaker. I would wish to urge the relevant department to pick up that report and act upon it promptly, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Member representing Nandi, Honorable Bitok.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this chance to say something that Chairman Honorable Matata has presented to us. I support, and always Honorable Matata is a truthful man doing the right thing at the right time. So I always support what he says. Although, Honorable Speaker, there are so many things that has been touched, and majority of them has not been implemented. Although since it is 2025, 2030 planned, some of them will be implemented future as we move. And some of us at that time will be in Lancaster House, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Bitok.
I mean, I'm praying for this house, for those members who will come back after the re-election of 2027 to do much, and even the marginalized to be considered. Honorable Speaker, I heard Honorable Maina, the MCA, mentioning that some of the majority were silent. Always, majority have their way, and minority have their say. So, Honorable Speaker, it is in the record and answer of this House that at times I mentioned that the marginalized groups like the AGIC were not considered in some of the executive position. And someone mentioned that sometimes some other people pretend that they belong to the marginalized. And truly, we are all marginalized with our acts. What we are doing shows that we are marginalized, Mr. Speaker. So I stand to support this report. In future, let us implement, and as we move, we implement the right thing for this county, for the people of Nandi and the people of Kenya. Otherwise, I stand to support this report.
Honorable Kerich.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to thank all the honorable members that whom they have commended on the report. Honorable Speaker, I wish to call upon the Department of Health now that if this report is adopted by this House today, Honorable Speaker, we have some timelines that have been indicated in the recommendation of the committee. We have others 60 days. We have some timelines of about 6 months. So I urge, and I want to call upon the Committee on Implementation and the Committee on Health and Sanitation to make sure that immediately this report is adopted by this House, they make sure that the department meets the compliance. You will find that there are a lot of gaps that the committee has been able to identify through the guidance of the Office of the Auditor General, and I wish to call the department. Issues to do with legal compliance should not be an issue to be debated, Honorable Speaker, because those are issues that the Constitution and all the relevant laws are actually there to guide the operations of all these other departments. Otherwise, and I want also to call all other supportive departments, like we have the Nandi County Public Service Board on the issue of staffing. We have also the other department on the issues to do with land register and asset register, and those other policies that were not availed to the auditor. I want to make sure I call upon all the relevant stakeholders that they should cooperate and make sure that all these are bring into order. Finally, is the other bit of resource allocation, Honorable Speaker. As a county assembly, we also need to increase the allocations to the Department of Health. It is always said that a healthy nation is a working nation, Honorable Speaker. So I want to call the committee and all of us, if proposals are forwarded to this House, that we need to increase the allocation so that all these provisions and the standards that are required are met. I want to call upon this House that let us endeavor to support anything that is that touches on health. And currently, we are all aware that we have issues across on health issues, Honorable Speaker. So I want to call upon this House also to consider more resources to that department. Thank you very much for that support. Thank you, Honorable.
Honorable members, I'll proceed to put the question that this House adopts the report of the Public Investment Committee on the Auditor General's report on Mosoro Sub-County Referral Hospital as at 30th June 2025, laid on the table of the House on 10th June 2026. Will as many as of similar opinion say aye?
Aye.
And will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, motion.
Honorable member from Kobujoy, also the majority whip.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand to move a motion on the approval of members of Speaker's panel pursuant to Standing Order 16-1 of Nandi County Assembly, Standing Order. That this House approves the following members of Speaker's panel, Honorable Speaker. 1, Honorable Benjamin Matata, being the first member of the Speaker's panel. 2, Honorable Susan Jepto, being the second member of the Speaker's panel. And 3, Honorable Isaac Mosbey, being the third member of Speaker's panel. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, these members, as per the consideration by the selection, the House Business Committee, they seem competent, Honorable Speaker, and they fit the shoe of your office, Honorable Speaker, and they can really they can be of really good, they can be of great assistance to your office, Honorable Speaker. We now call upon honorable members to kindly approve so that these members form part and parcel of the Speaker's panel. I call upon Honorable Bet from Kapchorwa to second, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, I therefore proceed to propose that this House approves pursuant to Standing Order 16.1 of the Nandi County Assembly Standing Orders, the following members of the Speaker's panel. Honorable Benjamin Matata is the first member of the Speaker's panel. Honorable Susan Jepto is the second member of the Speaker's panel. And thirdly, Honorable Isaac Musbey is the third member of the Speaker's panel. Honorable Maina.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. May I make some comments on this motion and say Honorable Mosbe, I asked him, you mean you had not been already appointed to this? And then he said, no, somebody was moved. So I said, okay, wow. Now, I've also said to him, and I'm saying to the House, that it's a good thing. It's okay to have these members, you know, or like Honorable Matata, my friend, there's something really wrong today with the microphones. I hope Honorable Mosbe is not doing anything, considering he's a chair of digital world and so on. Has been helping us a lot, Honorable Speaker. So much as sometimes he gets a bit of a tougher than you, and he sometimes forgets that he is just a temporary speaker. So sometimes, when Honorable Speaker, when you are not seated there, we miss your presence. You are usually more tolerant and more accommodating. I do not wish to talk about competence. And so it's a good thing to have all these members. So I hope, Honorable Speaker, that once we approve them, you can take them to some training so that they can, particularly the first one, Honorable Speaker, the first member, so that he can be more, more accommodating. So maybe you start with him. If one person can go, so that he can go for that training. Then,
Honorable Maina, you seem to be objecting, or you know?
No. I'm okay, Honorable Speaker. I just said, once we approve, I've said, Honorable Speaker, you are normally a bit careful, Honorable Speaker. I don't know why. Once we approve, then you can start with them. Maybe then the final, it start with him, the first one. Then the last comment, Honorable Speaker, that I would like to make on this question is, a bit of a torture. A number of honorable members, Honorable Speaker, are not chairmen. A number of them are not vice chairmen. So unless they can rightfully say that they are not interested, I also wish to implore upon these members, Honorable Speaker, to surrender some of the positions for others. Honorable Speaker, we should not have gluttony in this House, quote unquote. Probably that's not parliamentary, you will forgive me, Honorable Speaker. Let us have equity. So if there is a member who is not a chair, and already somebody else is serving in more than one position, can we have particularly these ones, the ones in this panel, then can they give space for others to occupy? Honorable Speaker, I support that we should approve this. And also these other comments that I've made. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
That is well noted, the Honorable Member from Olesos, the Honorable Member from Sangalo Keblonik, Honorable Silas Kogo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for according me this opportunity to also stand and give my few remarks concerning this motion on the approval of members of Speaker's panel. Honorable Speaker, I want to sincerely thank the said persons or the said honorable members. That's Honorable Benjamin Matata, who has been tested, Honorable Speaker, for quite some time, and also Honorable Susan Chepto, followed by Honorable Isaac Mosbey, for this opportunity, Honorable Speaker. I know, Honorable Speaker, among the 44 MCAs, it was the 3 who were given the opportunity to serve on your Speaker's panel, and I want to congratulate them for the opportunity that they have been given. Honorable Speaker, I know the 3 are equal to the task, and I want to urge that during your absence, Honorable Speaker, the only thing that I want to encourage them is to keep time. And I know, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Benjamin Matata has proven that. And I want to sincerely ask the other 2 members to follow suit. Especially my friend here, Honorable Isaac Mosbey. In the morning, he was our speaker, and I want to, and I saw he's capable on that asset. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to also thank the Honorable Whip for this motion, and also, giving that opportunity for others to serve in this asset. It's not this, Honorable Speaker, but so I want to ask even fellow members, if it happens that you are holding 2 seats, kindly surrender to the others, as said by Honorable Ashangu. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that without much ado, Honorable Speaker, let these people be given chance, and also maybe to go and benchmark even to other assemblies so that they can get more of experience rather than even the Honorable Speaker. Otherwise, I want to say I support this motion, and I will want to wish well to the said honorable members. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Member from Terik, just a minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for according me this time to contribute on this motion on the members that have been selected to join your team of speakers panel. While I was the neighbor of Honorable Whip, I was asking him, was there any internal pressure for you to surrender to to Honorable Mosby? But he was telling me that he was comfortable because he has been the one moving the motion. And we welcome the members to assist the speaker on this. To assist in running the business of this house. Let me congratulate Honorable Mosby that you are up to the task, and also thank Honorable Whip for having a remorseful heart, that he had also seen that Mosby is a very good member who will steer up the position that he has been given to. Currently, we have been having Matata being there. We've seen that he has been a very great member. You've supported us because most of the debates that we have been airing up here, you have been a great member there. So we are adding you, Mosby. You are up the task. Let's wish the members success. And as they resume the office, the speaker, you have the courtesy heart. Give them a training for some few days. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Member from Songo Soba, Honorable Raymond Chelule. Sorry.
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you. Mr. Speaker, when this House candidate of Deputy Speaker. which unfortunately I lost to the current Deputy Speaker. Now, there have been various approvals for members of the Speaker's panel, and I'm not considered. I have never even been considered for chairmanship of any sectoral committee. And I find it very much improper that I don't hold any position of responsibility. So, Mr. Speaker, I am asking to be considered for one of the positions of membership of the Speaker's panel. That is all I.
Honorable Chelule, are you therefore indicating that you opposed to this motion, or you should be considered in future?
This motion, this should be considered. I'm opposing this motion, and we should. One of the members I've seen being proposed here is not even here to contribute to that motion. I'm sorry, I cannot mention names. Yeah. So, I feel I am marginalized in this house in terms of the responsibility that I given.
Honorable.
I'm sorry I have to say that, but I think it is correct.
Honorable Raymond, you've aired your concerns. I take note that you've also opposed this particular motion. And again, I'm cognizant of the fact that you've suggested to the chair that you should be considered in any of the committees. And I note that the chairperson, that will be directed to the chairperson of the selection panel, so that he can be able to place you, having considered all the other issues.
Yeah, this problem of marginalization.
It's that is it. That is it, Honorable Chelule. Honorable members, I will proceed to put the question that pursuant to Standing Order 16.1 of the Nandi County Assembly Standing Orders, this House approves the following members of the Speaker's panel: Honorable Benjamin Matata, the first member of the Speaker's panel; 2, Honorable Susan Jepto, the second member of the Speaker's panel; and lastly, Honorable Isaac Mosbey, the third member of the Speaker's panel. Will as many as of similar opinion say ayes?
Aye.
And will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it. I think that is the resolution of the House. We can now move to the next order.
Order number 10, adjournment.
Honorable members, there being no any other prayers on the order of business today, the House stands adjourned until tomorrow 10 a.m.